hello and welcome to Sutton Pool, just outside Market Drayton, a venue that I fished once before for the Roach. I know it was winter. I couldn't tell you exactly what time of year it was. I remember waking up and there was frost on my rods, but I don't remember there being a 15-20 mile an hour Baltic easterly wind. And we all know the saying, when the wind's in the east, the fish bite the least, but that is one of the reasons why we're here at Sutton and targeting the Roach, because if you had to target a species in those conditions, with all the rivers basically in the fields and out of sorts, the Roach is probably up there among the very best species. And Sutton has done fish to a fraction over my personal best, which is £3 2 ounces, which is an incredible fish from anywhere in the country / world. So if you had to pick in the middle of January in Baltic conditions where you had to fish for 2 days and target a species, here, Roach, it's probably up there among the top 3. However, I've got 2 rods out. I've got a 3rd rod in there that I need to rig up at the moment, but my hands are in me bib and brace because because I've got frostbite. But I think before I even rig that 3rd rod up, I'm going to move to this swim down here, because there's a big tree creating a nice big sort of triangle shaped V of the wind right on the back, and I've stood here for the last 10 minutes and I think I've seen a couple of half decent roach stick their heads out. So yeah, before I even set that up, I'm going to move these 2 rods and wander down there 30 yards and just flop a couple of feeders on their heads. I don't think they're going to be feeding that much in these conditions. I think it's going to be almost clipping up feeders and building a swim gradually through the day. But first and foremost, I need to try and locate them, because I ain't been here for a few years. I don't know where they are. It was frozen last week. I'm frozen now. And I think just casting a few feeders around, pub chucking at showing fish is probably our best bet for the first hour to try and locate some and try and get a bite. So yeah, I'm getting these rods in and I'm moving up there for half an hour, because you can't catch what you ain't on, and I think they might be there. When you catch a perch that's nearly fits in your feeder, and that's the small one. Still, we ain't blanked and it's the first bite. But I will say this, since we've actually turned up here in this swim, I've only actually saw 1 fish in this swim like I did previously. I saw quite a few, but I think both the cameraman and I saw it. It was literally off of our rod tips and it looked like a very big roach. But we've been here probably 20 minutes since then, and that's the first bite that we've had. And the worrying thing is, Sutton is normally a very clear lake, crystal clear, like tap water clear. And where we've had significant rainfall in the last 48 hours, 72 hours, it's very sort of clay-like colour. And as much as it might sound like I'm making excuses, you know, I was very aware that we was going to have the easterly winds. That's one of the reasons I picked here for this species, because I thought it'd give us the very best chance. And I can probably count on one hand the sessions that I've had in strong easterly winds that have been brilliant, not many. But I can't even remember a decent session that I've had on a lake that generally is clear, that has just recently started colouring up due to all of the mud that's sort of flushed in. So yeah. Excuses out of the way, we're going to crack on. Of course, we've got 2 days ahead of us. I'm not defeated by any means, because I have seen fish are moving, but I definitely felt like putting feeders on moving fish should have produced a bite or 2 more, and I think that's down to the colour. But we crack on. Not big. I'm struggling here, folks. You don't realise. I've tried to set the 3rd rod up for the last 15 minutes, but my hands are gone.
like totally gone. I left them indoors. It's so cold. It is Baltic. Hey, it is a roach. It's not the roach, but it is a roach. Probably a bit too, oh bless it, look, it's a little bit washed out with the milky water, but well, at least, gives us a real big boost. I'll tell you that, because I've been chatting to Ty behind the camera, and I mentioned it last time, and I won't keep going on about it, but the water clarity really has worried me, combined with everything else. But I've actually just had an indication on the right hand rod, and I've just had the middle rod do a roach, so hopefully we're starting to come together. Oh, and if you haven't noticed, we've moved back to where we started originally, because as soon as we went up there, I don't know why, but everything that we saw buggered off. So at least in this swim I can cover a little bit more water. So it ain't the monster that Sutton's famous for. Oh my God, that water is absolutely Baltic, but it's an absolutely mint condition roach. For the size of it, it's fat as you like. And the last time I was here, I don't remember there being any roach of this size. So that bodes really well, because that means these ones, thank you darling, you can go back. That means them ones have been bred on, and they're being bred on by like A+ stock. So the future is bright. And my hands are frozen. To think that I spent many years constructing my own little heli roach rigs, and here are just products that even when you can't work your hands and you're half blind like I am, wow, I am really blind. It's terrible. It is absolutely horrendous. That's not even like a small hole. I can't even get that. There you go, it's in. But even when you're half blind like I am at the moment, well, at the moment, it's only getting worse. You literally just slide your line through, thread it on, and jobs are good. There is your quick change swivel. There are your two. Oh, we're in. Not ideal, is it? Little sod's done me in the rushes. I just realised we've still got that little one in the net. Absolutely mint. Look at that thing. Well folks, they are definitely getting bigger. I'm going to give myself somewhere in the region of £1 pound for that bad boy. Look how fat they are, look. And again, it's not one of the OGs, but thank you darling, on a bitterly cold day when 99.9% of anglers would never even bother. We've had 5 dog roach, and hopefully there's still more and bigger to come. I'm going back to the van to get my hand warmers. I'm doing it. I'm doing it, man. Keith Arthur once told me, he said, oh, if your hands are really cold, he said, put them in the water, right, when the water's really cold. He said, put them in the water, and then when you bring them out again, all the blood rushes to them. So I'm going to put that to the test right now, because this water is, I don't know how it ain't frozen, but it feels like it should be. And I have gone red. Hopefully that's blood pumping to them. Nope. No, absolutely not. Oh, look at that thing. That thing, look at that. Oh, that was, Keith's given me many, many great tips in the past. Keith, that one didn't work, mate. It didn't work. They're definitely moving about, aren't they? This one actually don't feel too bad. Ty, is it a good time to tell you that you're actually sitting on my landing net, mate? You are. Or technically the pole. And they're like 3 times the size of this. 3 times the size of that. Come on, darling.
Wow. Oh, I see one. Well, folks, I'm not sure what number fish this is. It's certainly well into the sort of teens. Oh, Christ. It's certainly lively. But it's among the better ones that I've had. Still nowhere near. Look at that, absolutely pristine. Still nowhere near as big as what they do go here in Sutton. Oh, there you go. But I feel like I'm in a bit of a position now. It's 1:45. I messed about earlier on for the first 45 minutes casting and showing fish, which I did really well the first time I came here doing. That's what caught me the big fish. I saw them, I cast at them and I caught them. That didn't happen this morning, so I came back to this swim and I set out 2 rods initially. Now I've got 3 rods and they're all clipped up and I'm starting to build a swim. And I'm catching quite a few roach, to be fair, up to possibly, if my mum weighed them, maybe a pound. That certainly wasn't. That was maybe 12 ounces, 14 ounces. But beautiful fish. But I feel like right now, if I was on bigger fish, the 2-pounders and possibly even the 3-pounders that we're after, let's be honest, that do live in here, I feel like if I was on them, I'd have caught one. Just through the sheer volume of bait that's gone out and bites that I've had. They're clearly feeding. So I always read all the comments in all the videos and stuff like that. So I'm intrigued. Right now, given the opportunity, what would you do? Would you stay, keep building the swim and hope a better one comes along? And I'm happy catching them, by the way. That's no drama whatsoever. Any other lake in the country, I'd be happy catching them all day long. But it's only because I know there's a decent head of big 2s and the odd 3-pounder in here that makes me have itchy feet right now. What would you do? Would you stay or would you go? Write in the comments and don't watch till the end to see what I do. Try and pause it and write now what you'd actually do, because I'm just intrigued. I do read the comments and I'd be interested to see roughly on a ratio what people would do. Who would stay and fish the day? And who would go and see if you can find better ones? Because I don't know yet, and I don't think there's a right or a wrong answer. It's just a feeling in your belly. 100% that's a better one. Perseverance has paid off, and I've definitely got a better, if this is a roach, which I think it is because it's kiting, this is definitely better. Whether it's a monster or not, I don't know, but it's definitely better. Oh, it's kiting right. Quite a long way right. Please be a roach. Oh my word. Oh my word. That's a proper one. Right now my, oh geez Louise, look at the size of that after all them little ones. That looks massive. Right, now be honest. Be honest with me. Did you stay or did you go? Did you stay or did you go now? Because we stayed. But I was standing there singing that song in my head for the last half an hour. And I thought to myself, oh, my old mate Nigel Brotherway said to me, never move unless you've got something better to move to. And I've got nothing better to move to other than just a hunch. Anyway, that folks is a proper roach. Look at that. That's a dog. That's a proper roach, that one. And the one thing I will say, I didn't mention, is that this rod was fished quite short on the back of the wind, in the lee of the wind. Remember this morning we saw them fish all in the lee of the wind just up there? Well, I dropped this rod, the right hand rod, quite short, and I fished it for the last few hours short. And it's out of the 2 rods, it's the one that's done the least bite. So how long ago, Ty? Half an hour, 20 minutes ago? I unclipped it and I went at the same range as the middle rod, which has done the vast majority of the bites, but further over to the right. So more on the sort of the line where I see the fish, but more sort of middle diddle. So as much as we didn't go, I did change something. I changed my spot. I'm so relieved, folks, so relieved. And you will never, I'm sure you've all been in that position, but I was in bits this morning. My hands, they didn't feel like mine. They weren't working. Couldn't tie a knot for 20 minutes.
was pathetic, but it's cold. And now we've got a big roach. It makes no difference whatsoever. Right, I'm going to get this rod back out and then we're going to deal with that. I've got to weigh that. That's a proper fish, that is. Wow, that's what we were catching. I was quite happy with that. Put it next to this one. Handful, they're proper handful, they are. So that there is different level. Just about to weigh it. Well, folks, I know we're not all the way through the day, but there were times when I was thinking it weren't going to happen. But £2, 2 ounces. That, wherever you go in the country, whoever you speak to, no matter what they've caught, is a proper roach. And look at that, they do not come any better than that. That is absolutely mint. And I am so made up, because in these conditions, I did question whether I was too optimistic, but you just got to be in it to win it. And even though I don't think we've won it, we ain't far off with things like this, aren't we? That's amazing. So happy. Well, folks, winter roach fishing. I'm probably not going to tell you much different than what you've probably seen before, because quite frankly, most people target roach in a very similar manner, rigs, tackle and stuff like that. But I'm going to run you through what I'm using here anyway today, because it just works. And for many, many years, I sort of coupled carp bits and match bits together to work out my rigs. And I just kick myself for not just going out and buying some of the stuff that we do, because it just makes it so easy. Hardware-wise, I'm using the Trilogy rods with a 1.5 pound quiver section in. It seems a little bit punchy for roach fishing, yes, but that's why I've got the quiver tip section in, because obviously they've got quite soft mouths and they bang their heads quite a lot when they're on their way in. So the quiver tip section just cushions that, so you don't get many or any hook pulls. But also, I don't mind a pokier rod, because quite frankly, when you chuck in 2, sometimes 3 ounce feeders at range, a heavier rod, particularly in conditions like this, lovely and calm in this swim, but you go 5-6 yards out and we've got a horrible easterly wind pumping from right to left. Having a more powerful rod means that you can hit the spot much easier. Coupled that with the Dreamcast 4000s, and I've got 8 pound, which is 0.26 feeder line. Now, I know you don't need 8 pound, but 1, I can get away with it with the clarity of the water, and 2, 8 pound in the feeder line is 0.26, which is the diameter of most 6 pound lines, which is what most people use. So I go on diameter. It just seems to be 8 pound in the feeder line. And like I said, when it comes to the rig, it's all done for you. These Speci Heli kits are absolutely mustard. You simply poke your line through the little bit of wire, thread it up your line. You've got everything you need to protect your main line with the attachment that you put on your hook link. The hook link there is between 4 and 5 inches long. It's 4.8 or call it 5 pound fluorocarbon. I've got a size 16 one of our maggot hooks on there, a tiny little towel rubber that I've cut down. This is one of our old ones, just because I wanted to cut the old ones down. I didn't really want to butcher any of our new ones, but I've cut it down to about 1 inch. The shorter the hook link, generally the shorter that anti-tangle rig sleeve is. And then just to neaten it off by the feeder, again, we do it all for you. We've got the heli sleeve, which is absolutely mustard. Just means you don't get that hook, because I like to fish that hook link, or that hook, when it's rotating around the rig. I like to fish it so that it is about 1 inch away from where you actually attach that feeder. You can fish it further or even closer, but obviously once you fish it a little bit further down past where that heli sleeve goes, then you've got the chance of that hook actually embedding itself in the feeder, and we don't want that. So I fish it as close as I dare, but that heli sleeve makes it nice and neat, so it's completely tangle proof.
And feeder wise, I'm using our brand new window maggot feeders. They are absolutely mustard. I got them about 2 weeks ago and I was desperate to use them. And so I brought them down here. And as much as they don't look that aerodynamic, let me tell you folks, these are the mediums in 60 grams, so 2 and a bit ounces, and they cast in a crosswind absolutely mega, like bullets. And that's it. If you want to go out and do a bit of roach fishing, as long as you've got the hardware and the right sort of breaking strain mainline, go and buy a couple of packets of our gear, because everything else is done for you. That's it. Simple as you like, you just got to find them. Well, good morning and welcome to day 2. And you find us in the same peg that we fished, well, yesterday. Albeit we didn't start here this morning. I visited this place probably 3 or 4 years ago and had an incredible result. And based on that result, it's very, very difficult to ignore the swim that I caught all those fish from, which is like an entrance to a bay over there. Yesterday I stood there for about 10 minutes and had a look, and I did see the odd small fish, but I decided with an easterly wind whacking into it that it just wasn't the one, and my watercraft and my belly told me that I needed to be on the back of it because that's where I felt most fish would be. And yesterday we did see quite a few fish on the back of the wind where we are now, and we did catch one proper roach. But one proper roach isn't what you come to Sutton for. And I'm not ungrateful, I'm very super grateful, and if I catch 1 2-pound roach every single time I go roach fishing, I'll be very happy. But I did feel, knowing what this place can do, that if I was on a shoulder fish yesterday, I should have probably caught more than one. And so this morning I went round to the swim where I had quite a lot of fish from, and it fishes a completely different part of the lake, and I flicked the rods out for an hour. It was very uncomfortable standing there. We've still got an easterly wind pumping in, which is like minus whatever it is, and added to the fact that it was raining this morning as well. So we pumped 2 rods out, hid behind the trees, and looked and looked and looked, and I never saw a single fish. And based on what I saw yesterday morning on this side of the lake, and not having any signs on the rods, feeders, hook baits, whatever, we decided that an hour around there was probably enough. They're not there, and if they are there, they're certainly not feeding or showing, and that we should come round here. And the best bet for today would be to kiss as many frogs as we possibly can, play the numbers game. Caught a lot of roach yesterday, and probably clip up and fish over the bait that we introduced yesterday, and hopefully 1 or 2 more proper ones turn up, because like I said, where there's one, there's almost always several more of that size. Why we didn't oh, that's some fish. Why we didn't pick up more bigger ones, I don't know. I've got a feeling it was because we caught so many smaller ones, but like I said, it's just a numbers game, and we're gonna do exactly the same again as we did yesterday. It worked to a degree, and at the moment, I don't really feel like there's a better option. Here's a better one, a better small one. Oh, no, that's not me, is it? Net's a bit big for that, but there we go. Like I said, numbers game. Look at him. I mean, he ain't little, is he? He's little for Sutton, but he ain't little. He's mega. It's a proper handful, that. Well, folks, it's certainly still not a monster for Sutton, but look at that, for fish that are coming through. Absolutely mint. Probably fish number 5 or 6, maybe 7 or 8, I'm not sure, this morning. It hasn't been as prolific as it was yesterday, thank you, darling. But I don't mind that, because I think if them better ones were on us yesterday, it was so prolific with fish of that sort of stamp that they might have actually got in the way. So if we have half the amount of small ones today than we did yesterday, I think that gives us twice the amount of chance of catching a better one. Does that make sense? Does that math? I don't know. Makes sense in my mind. Is the math mathing? Well, folks, let's talk bait, because obviously it's venue dependent or specific, and it's obviously down to what you know works. And most of my roach fishing sessions, I've only ever fished here once before for the roach, many other venues, probably once or twice. I've never really done any campaign fishing for big roach anywhere. And big roach have been caught on everything from boilie, pellet, maggots, corn, meat, even tiger nuts. I've heard people talk about tiger nuts being absolute like barnstormers for big roach. But the fact of the matter is, the two things, if you are targeting big roach, that you should always have in your armoury are maggots and a bit of hemp. And when it's freezing cold like this, I don't really know, Sutton, to be fair, but I'm going to revert back to what I know works. And that is, at the moment, I'm building the swim with a slightly bigger feeder, whether it's the window maggot feeders or these combis. I'm putting a couple of pinches of maggots in there, 1 pinch of hemp, and then 2 reds or a red and a white on a size 16 maggot hook. That's it. It might not be the absolute dog's dangly bits on the venue that you are particularly targeting, but it will work everywhere. And if you don't know what to start with, this is probably your best bet. One, that's for sure. Oh, it's a solid one. Oh, I don't know, it might be £2. It's certainly a big roach. I think that's a prop one. That one definitely feels heavier. Oh, they're just swimming straight in towards you. Yeah, I think this might be a decent one. And we've got a problem because I've got a scraper 2. Yeah, it's definitely a better one. Got a scraper 2 in that net there, and I've got a little one in there with a rig, and that's just going to get right messy. And I've just stood. Yeah, that's a proper one. That's a prop one. And this net handle's broke. I've just stood on it. Oh my God. I think I've just seen an absolutely humongous roach. Oh, that's a crucian. Oh my God. it's a massive crucian. My heart just sunk. I thought I've just seen a roach that's like a foot deep. Jesus Christ, it's a massive crucian. It's a £3 crucian, which is the other species that this place is renowned for. But crucians don't feed in January, especially when it's like minus whatever it is. And generally they're tucked up under the bushes. They're not in over water. How mad is that? It looks like a ghost crucian because of the colour in the water. Tight, I can't tell you. I thought that was like a 3.5 pound roach. My heart literally just can't take this. Right. How mad is that? Dude, that's a massive crucian. Well, folks, we really are working hard for every one of these OGs, but look at that. The depth and width of this thing is incredible. It is a Nats, you know what, over 2 pounds. So my second 2 pounder of the trip. And yeah, I think I said it yesterday. If I go home with a 2 pounder every day, I'll do a bit of roach fishing, then that's great. But I'm sort of blown away because as much as this is absolutely incredible, the following fish, I just did not expect. And because it felt so big, I thought it was an absolute monster roach. But hell, 2 pound specimen. And look at that, that is absolutely incredible, like fin and scale perfect. Look at that. Oh, they are incredible. Well, slightly disappointed because I thought it was an absolutely humongous roach, but also over the moon to catch my second biggest ever crucian at 3 pounds 12 ounces. And in January, empty as you like, as you can see by the belly, that is definitely one of the big ones, one of the known fish in here. This is a 4 pound fish at the right time of year. I've absolutely no doubt about that, for it to be 3 pound 12 in January. But like I said, incredible creature. Yes, it's a little bit washed out because obviously the colour of the water and probably the time of year, but I'm really pleased it wasn't a PB, because to catch it in these circumstances wouldn't quite have felt the same. But there is a little bit of disappointment in me because for a couple of seconds there, I thought it was one of the real big roach. Didn't even think they'd be out awake. I did not think they would be swimming around. My knees are shaking. My knees are shaking. That felt massive. It actually took line. Banging its head. Banging its head. Feels a bit weird. Ain't gonna be a perch, is it? Or another crucian. It's holding really deep like it is a crucian. It's another crucian. Oh my God, it's another crucian. What the hell? There's another... What's happening, man? It's January. Do they not know they should be hibernating or something? I thought that was a massive roach, man. Again. I'm actually disappointed. Like, I'm like, happily come back and have a go at you in May or June or something, but not now. Come on, go sleep. I thought that was a massive roach. Well, it's another bloody big crucian. Not as big as the last one, but so much for a roach fishing video. I've caught as many specimen crucians as I have specimen roach. And it's the 30th of January, for Christ's sake, and it's like 2 degrees. What the flip? What the flip, man? Well, if we went anywhere else and tried to do a roach film and caught roach like that, you'd be well happy. It'll be £2. I don't know how quick they grow, but it'll be £2 at some point for sure. perfectly back, isn't it? Well folks, it's been another Baltic day, but it's been an epic day. I mean, look, we haven't caught many of the proper roach that this place can produce and does regularly produce, but we have caught a 2-pounder yesterday and we caught a 2-pounder today. And looking back over the 2 days, I do think to myself that we probably haven't maximised the opportunities, probably could have done something better, but when I think about what I would change, I'm not sure there's an awful lot. There is an opportunity possibly to start putting in a little bit more bait, but the more bait I tended to put in, the more small fish I attracted. And yes, that might have brought some bigger fish in, but you know, you don't really know. But also in these freezing cold conditions, there is a chance that you pile a bit more bait in, and the old allergy is that once you put it in, you can't take it out again, and we could have killed it. And we have, even though yesterday was a lot more prolific to today, we have regularly ticked off bites throughout both days, and I think this time of year that's pretty much what you've got to do. And I did come here hoping, if I'm honest, to catch a 3-pounder, and I caught 2 3-pounders today. Unfortunately, and I would never have believed it if you'd have told me at the start of the day, they were crusions. And the 312, me and Ty have been talking about it, is probably one of the biggest crusions in the country right now. There ain't many crusions that go bigger than 3-pound 12 in January. Like, it's massive. So yeah, mixed emotions about that. A real nice surprise, but obviously both of those crusions, until they did the circles in the edge, which they're renowned for, I kind of thought they were monsters, monster roach. So I've got probably 20 minutes left. It has gone a bit quiet, and yesterday's last hour was really quiet as well. It seems the middle of the day is the most prolific at the moment, which is mad. Like first knockings and last knockings, which you always associate with being the witching hour, just haven't been the witching hour. So if it goes off, obviously I'll hold one up for you. But if not, like, subscribe, do all that jazz. I have got a bite. It's not a big one. It's not a big one. I can tell, I have experience. So like I was saying, like, subscribe, do all that jazz, and I'll see you on the next one. Ta-ta.